You make eloquent the tongues of infants. Refine our speech and pour forth upon our lips the goodness of your blessing. Grant to us keenness of mind, capacity to remember, skill in learning, subtlety to interpret, and eloquence in speech. May you guide the beginning of our work, direct its progress, and bring it to completion. You who are true God and true man, who live and reign, world without end. Amen. Amen. Would you like a cup of coffee? I think this is appropriate.
Only. Why Sonia wanted to read that antiphon? Because she is a Carmelite. Yes.
She's a what?
She's a Carmelite. You know what is Carmelite?
Carmelite. Yeah.
That means secular. And St. John of the Cross is one of the pioneers to reform the Carmelite order with St. Teresa of Avila. And they founded a new branch of Carmelites, and they call it Reformed Carmelites.
The what?
Reformed
Carmelites.
So, and they as a part of Reformation, they made it a point that to what's called, utmost poverty, and for that they decided not to wear the what's called the slippers or the shoes, and walking barefoot on snows. That's why they are called OCD. OCD. That means Order of Carmelites Discalced. Calceta means calceta means the shoes. So discalced Carmelites. And you can just imagine how these people would be like, just walking, barefoot on snows in Europe. Not only, all the time. Maybe they may have in, maybe 4 months. Even that is.
Snow and ice too.
They call Europe, 6 months cold and 6 months winter, and that is their weather.
But they really do wear sandals. They wear sandals.
But afterwards, but they immediately proved, this barefoot walking won't, survive people. So they started wearing sandals.
Wow.
Even that sandals is not, enough, no?
No.
But they keep the word discalced Carmelite, but wear good shoes.
Sensible shoes.
Sensible, adapting. And that's called again reform. Adapt to the times. Yeah. This is about something about, because I just wanted to introduce what is Carmelite order. And these both of them, I think, even both of these two, St. Teresa of Avila, together with St. John of the Cross, they were the pioneers of these reforms, and they were good writers also. Both of them were good writers, mystic writers, and therefore the church called them not only saints but the doctors of the church. Do you know what is doctors of the church? The eminent theologians, who brought theology. So they are called doctors. Of course, they are not only saints and doctors. So just imagine what is the father of the church, doctor of the church, and saints. You know what is saints? All of us know, no? Saints. And who are the fathers of the church?
The patriarch.
Not only patriarch, we have only 33 doctors. And of course, so many fathers of the church means until 7th century, the pioneers of our faith, they are called the fathers of the church.
Up to 7th century.
Up to, the last one, whose name is, in the Orient, it is Saint John Damascene, who died in 749. 749. Saint John, the last father of the church. Saint John Damascus, who is called Saint John Damascene. Or in the West, it is Pope Gregory the Great, who died in 639, something like that.
He's the same Gregory that commissioned the calendar?
Yes. No. That's another Gregory.
Okay.
This is
This is in the 600?
639 or 30 something, almost 100 years difference.
So the difference between fathers and doctors of the church is?
That's the fathers, those people who are theologians, saints and theologians. Theologians means the big writers, who developed theology, wrote books.
St. Augustine?
St. Augustine, people like that.
St. Ignatius?
Not St. Ignatius, no.
Males and females?
Yeah, but in the beginning, all these up to this 749, that is the time, the last time for the fathers of the church. That means almost like beginning of the medieval age. So the first centuries, first 7 centuries, they are called the fathers, who really, gave birth to theology. That is, they are called. But we don't have any female there.
Yeah.
We don't have any female there.
But with doctors, yeah.
Afterwards, nobody is called fathers of the church after 749. But doctors of the church means the great theologians. Great theologians. We have only 33 theologians like that, named as doctors of the church. So that is from the beginning of the church until now. Doctors. So some of the fathers of the church who are very prominent theologians, they are called doctors of the church. So we have, to my memory, I think 16 of the 33, 16 are from the fathers of the church. For example, Athanasius, Gregory Nyssa, Gregory Nazianzen, St. Basil the Great, then Bede the Venerable, then these are all, fathers of the church first, until St. John Damascene, St. Pope Gregory the Great, Leo the Great. So all these people, St. Augustine, of course, without, and also St. Jerome, St. Jerome?
Yes.
St. Jerome, the great scholar in scripture. All these people are...
Athanasius?
Athanasius, yeah, of course. That he is the first one, we can say.
Father of orthodoxy.
Yeah, father of... everyone has a name also, a title. So, the first 16 or 19 are the fathers of the church and doctors of the church. And afterwards, the great theologians like St. Thomas Aquinas, and the last one who was named as the doctors of the church, that is St. John of Avila.
Yes.
That was Pope John Paul II nominated him. So the females, there are 3 females. First, St. Teresa of Avila or St. Catherine of Siena. Then,
That was first. Teresa was
yeah, Teresa, St. Catherine of Siena, and St. Teresa of Lisieux. So these are the 3 females. Only 3.
So 16 were fathers and doctors, so 17 were just doctors.
Yeah, saint. All must be saints. All are saints.
Father, I have a question with regards to the Eastern Catholic Church. I don't quite understand, but when they have their own saints, the Eastern Orthodox Church.
They have their own.
Now, if they were declared as saints by them, are they saints by us?
No.
I mean, we cannot.
Need not be. Suppose, for example, say Athanasius, who is a saint for us, and say for them too. All these, the saints of the Eastern Church, that split came to exist, I think that was in 1403. 1403, I think. Something like that. I'm not exactly, I don't remember. But in the 15th century.
Okay.
Until that time, all the saints of the Catholic Church are saints of the Orthodox Church.
So all the fathers of the church.
All the fathers of the church are all theirs.
But after that, their saints are not our saints.
No. That means they declare their saints, we declare our saints.
But we cannot venerate their saints.
No.
Because I read recently that, for example, Constantine,
Emperor Constantine,
he declared a saint by the Eastern Orthodox
Yes.
Church. He's declared a saint.
Yes.
I never heard that in the Catholic Church.
No, we don't declare in him, Constantine as a saint.
Right.
And in the Catholic Church, he is not venerated.
Oh, I see. Because we have different criteria than the people
Players.
of the Eastern.
Yes. Not Easterners, non-Catholics. We have all the Catholic Church, whether Eastern or Western, declaring saint, we have the same criterion. The difference is not Easterners and Westerners. The difference is Catholics and non-Catholics. Did you get the point?
Orthodox Church.
Talking about the Eastern Orthodox Church and the Catholic Church.
Whether it is Christian, whether it is Eastern or Western or anybody, there is only one procedure in the Catholic Church to declare a saint.
All the 6 churches.
All 23 churches, all done now, it's all done by the Vatican. All done by the Vatican. Now Eastern Church itself, for example, Eastern Church, they cannot declare somebody as a saint. No. It is done by Pope alone. That's why I say the difference is not Easterners or Westerners. The basis of the difference is Catholics and non-Catholics.
I think the confusion, at least for me, comes from because I had always thought of non-Catholics as churches springing from the Lutheran
No.
separation, but there were actually non-Catholics before that.
Before that, sure.
And
Only
a lot of us don't realize that.
Yeah, the non-Catholics means, the non-Catholics in the Western Church, main split was from Luther. But the main split of the Catholic Church from the Catholic Church in the East was Orthodox. And in the Eastern Church, we don't have so much of Protestants.
Right. But they're still Christians.
Or Christians.
Absolutely.
Are the Orthodox considered Catholic Orthodox? Is that what they call themselves?
Do you know what is the meaning of Orthodox?
Traditional,
Traditional, true church.
rigorous, strict.
That is not a rigorous, that is a new word for, that's a derived meaning now, what we say, Orthodox. They are very strict and traditional. Orthodox means true.
Oh my goodness, true?
And they call their church true church, Orthodox church.
They keep their rules.
Yeah.
They're very, very traditional, huh?
Yes.
I mean, I went to the service there in Austin where you had to take off your shoes and put on the veil and put on a robe and they're very much into marriage.
Yeah. So that's why, Orthodox means they say, yeah, we are the true church, we follow the true tradition. And they call themselves Orthodox in order to distinguish from the Catholic Church.
Wow.
Then you have the Greek Orthodox, which is something different. Right?
That is, difference, there are differences of, because of the liturgies. So the Greek Orthodox Church, there are the Antiochian Orthodox Church, there are different Orthodox churches.
Same thing as we have.
Just like the Protestants, there are so many denominations, no?
I see, for years, and I'm glad you explained it, I thought they were Catholics, the Orthodox.
No.
They have a lot of our tradition, right? I mean, we're very similar.
Most of it. One thing is clear. They are mostly similar to the Catholic Church than the Protestants. The Protestants are, they have gone, too far from the Catholic Church. But the Orthodox, because we share until the 14th century the same faith, and they did not change. So, the Orthodox Church consider Mary as the Mother of God. Sure. They have no problem with Mother of Mary. What is really problem with the Orthodox Church, it's mainly the problem of jurisdiction with the papacy.
They don't believe in that.
They don't believe in a one unified Pope who has jurisdiction all over the world. Their idea of ecclesiology, that is the church is, every church unit is independent. They have their own bishop, their own parishes, their own, a diocese itself is a miniature church. It is complete. And what is the unity among them is only what we call a unity of faith, not of jurisdiction. The Catholic Church, it is not so. The Catholic Church, of course, not only we have the unity of the faith, but also unity of the jurisdiction. That means the Pope having all over the world has the power. He can simply remove the Bishop of Brownsville. If he writes a letter, you are transferred from Brownsville to Austin, he is transferred.
Father, but the point is that we believe in the Vicar of Christ, and the Vicar of Christ is Peter, and in Peter comes all the Holy Father.
Yeah, that's the problem is, I have already told you that understanding and the papacy's power and things like that, it's a gradual evolution. In the first centuries, it was not so much. I have already explained, no? It was very, very loose. Just in the first centuries, they considered, each church was independent, and they considered some kind of, even in the first ecumenical council of 325, called by Emperor Constantine, not even by a pope. The first ecumenical council.
Coming out of the persecution.
Yeah,
you're right.
Why even all the churches, they cannot be
they were all
united
fragmented
together because they were on the
not that exactly. No, not that exactly. No. The problem was, see, the apostles went out all over the world and founded their own church. Not only apostles, and there are, disciples went out, founded their own church, and they, consider their church as a unit. with all these things. And there was nobody to coordinate. That was the history. That was the history. That means we are thinking only, our problem is, now we are so much unified under Pope, and we are thinking in retrospective effect, no? Just like now. No. We think the other way, because it has to, different, we have to think the other way. And each community was independent. And I told you, in the beginning, all the bishops were elected by that community. The bishops were elected just by people and the clergy. People and the clergy. And you see, did I explain about cardinals?
No.
Yes.
About what?
Cardinals.
Cardinals.
How they elect the Pope.
Cardinal.
We know.
I told you now, that means the Bishop of Rome was elected by, first the people and the clergy. Later, another development was, he was elected by the neighboring 6 dioceses. I told you. And then 25 parish priests. Because in order to facilitate a better election. So 6 bishops of the neighborhood and 25 the important parish priests of the Diocese of Rome. And there were 7 deacons. That means the Roman diocese was divided into 7 districts, and each deacon was given to a district for the charitable work. So these 7 deacons were in charge, and these deacons were also included in the election. So 6 bishops, 7 deacons, and 25 parish priests. These were the people who elected the Bishop of Rome.
And they were all in the area of Rome.
That's all from the Rome. Only except the bishops, 6 bishops. They were neighboring dioceses.
But at
7 deacons.
At that time, this might get in perspective too. At that time, communication wasn't like today. We can get communication across the world, and
Not only that, the problem of communication. If it was, how in 325, that was the first ecumenical council Emperor Constantine called. So that was the practice. No.
It reminds me when the priests in the temple were arguing about what to do about crucifying Christ, and that one rabbi said, "Leave him alone. If he is not of God, he will disappear.
Yeah.
If he is of God, you can't stop him."
That was the Gamaliel who was.
And the thing is, just sitting listening to this, we're talking about centuries, almost as if it were weeks. It is an absolute miracle that we know anything about Jesus. And it's an absolute miracle.
So, this thing, and therefore, when I talk about cardinals, these were the cardinals even now. In the College of Cardinals, these are the titles given to the cardinals who are now electing the Pope. There are bishops cardinals, there are priest cardinals, and there are deacon cardinals. Yes. Did I not explain that?
yes, you did. Just
Yeah.
Now sinking in.
Yeah. Because, so all these, but late it was, in the beginning, it was just confined to Rome. But later, Rome became, as a center of Christianity, and the Pope became what called, the head of the church. Now the deacons, or the cardinals, these people, they were extended to the universal church, but the titles they kept.
So what, as a
as a convert from Protestant to Catholic, so you're saying that a deacon can be a cardinal without being a priest?
Not that, deacon, that's not the idea. Only even among the cardinal college, we have now 209 cardinals, something like that. The bishop, Pope Paul VI made a reformation. Paul VI made a reformation that only 120 cardinals can elect the Pope. 120. And it should be below 80 years. So when a cardinal gets into 80 years old, he is no more eligible for election of the Pope, but still continues to be cardinal.
Okay.
But will not be eligible for election. Now the condition is, we have almost 209, something like that, cardinals, but eligible is only 109 cardinals. So there are almost like 100 cardinals who are non-eligible to elect a pope.
So about half of the cardinals are not eligible to...
Because of age. That means when one is completed 80 years, 80, he is no more eligible to elect the pope.
But there is no age limit on when he can become a pope?
No. There is no age limit. And before, I think Pope or John 23rd, who made that just recently made a law that when cardinal is nominated, he should be consecrated as bishop. Before that, just I think maybe less than 100 years.
Before
that, any layman could be nominated as a cardinal and remain as layman without consecration as a bishop.
So now before you become a cardinal, you have...
Now, one accepts the title as a cardinal, he is he will be ordained as a bishop, then accept the cardinal title. So now the practice is at least only the priests are, at least until priests are taken as the cardinal's title, then he will be given the title as a bishop. Just to take a very good example, very popular, very famous example is Cardinal Newman of England. Cardinal Newman of England, don't you know that?
Yes.
Did you hear?
The what?
Cardinal Newman?
The converted?
Yeah, he was a Protestant. He was a priest of Oxford.
Oxford, yes.
And then he was converted into Catholic Church, then remained as a priest, and he was nominated as cardinal, died as a cardinal, but he was just a priest. Never became a bishop. Cardinal Newman.
Wow. So he was awarded, given the cardinal title after his death?
No.
I'm sorry.
He was just went from priesthood to being a bishop.
Right.
Is cardinal like an honorary
Cardinal, it's only an honorary title.
Like a monsignor?
Monsignor. Only thing is that once the title is given, then he gets a real power. That means to elect the Pope, and usually all the cardinals are the heads of the congregations, the Roman Curia, and he gets, he becomes then, he becomes then, really the figure who can, influence in the church,
So what is the role of cardinal? What is the actual role of cardinal?
Let me say one thing. In the hierarchy, what do you mean by hierarchy? The leadership of the church. There are three orders. Three orders, major orders means. There is a deacon, there is a priest, there is a bishop.
That's it.
By consecration, these are the three, what's called the three steps. One becomes a deacon, that means by becoming a deacon, he is a cleric now. He belongs to the hierarchy of the church, the leadership of the church. The second category is priest, and third is bishop. Okay? These are the consecrated, hierarchy. All others are jurisdictional titles. For example, archbishop. There is no consecration, nothing of that sort. Only thing is that archbishop means, he's a head of some of the bishops together.
A geographical area.
A geographical, maybe one diocese together with, say, 5 or 10 or, dioceses are grouped together and they're called a province. And the province, and that bishop, the major, what's called, the bishop is called archbishop. Archdiocese, and the bishop is called archbishop. And it is not a consecrated title. It's only a title of a jurisdiction.
And that's also given by the Pope.
And the title is given by Pope. That means somebody that is, confined with the church. Who becomes the bishop of the archdiocese will automatically become the archbishop. For example, Brownsville, then Corpus Christi, then all these places are under which archdiocese here? San Antonio? So, I don't know.
We're under Galveston.
There is nothing to do with cardinals, all these things.
But is it the archbishop based on the
Geographical.
amount of Catholics in the area?
What?
The only archbishop, like Archbishop of New York, Chicago, but they have a lot of,
No. That is,
Can
no.
be an archbishop of Brownsville?
No, cannot be. There will not be, of course, unless this diocese of Brownsville is, raised to the archdiocese. So the bishop.
Criteria.
Yeah, that means criteria means what is called maybe a big people. There are so many people, not only the diocese only, but together with everybody. Or population, or the what's called importance of the history, or there are so many criterions. Usually, for example, suppose this valley becomes so populated, Catholic population, and the Brownsville, suppose the Brownsville diocese is divided into 6 bishoprics, no?
Like an upper valley and a lower.
Yeah. So for example, Upper Valley, Lower Valley, Brownsville, then McAllen, so like that, different dioceses. Okay? Then what happens? The Brownsville diocese will be raised to the status of an archdiocese. Then the bishop will become the archbishop.
It's got to be cosmopolitan then.
Yeah?
Very popular.
Cosmopolitan.
Yeah. That's called metropolitan.
Yeah.
That's all. Metropolitan archdiocese.
It would be like something like the city of Chicago, New York,
We were
LA.
under Corpus, and then later we became independent, Brownsville. But we're still under Galveston.
That is, under means, this archdiocese. Because the Corpus Christi was under Galveston. So when it was divided, they remained as Galveston. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, most of us, well, in my age group, we were, and I'm not going to say what the age is. When we were confirmed, the bishop would come from Corpus Christi.
Yes.
Oh my God.
This is only, this is very simple to understand. This is very simple to understand. That means, that's not a problem, it's very simple to understand means, our parish, this Holy Spirit parish, that becomes so big, so that, a priest cannot, simply administer that. If it becomes so big, populated, so what is the natural process?
one more church.
Yes.
One more parish.
So we establish another church somewhere, another place, and then divide it. So keeping the Holy Spirit as one church, and suppose, we shall say St. Teresa of Avila, another church.
You subdivide.
So these two churches, now two churches. Like that, Corpus Christi was so big, the Vatican understood, its, pastoral needs are greater than the bishop can meet now. So they thought of, dividing it too. That's all. So the valley part was divided, and, Corpus Christi remained one part. The valley became another diocese of Brownsville. That's all. That's not a problem.
So that's the process with the bishops and archbishops. What about the cardinals?
Cardinals, as I told you,
They're all bishops,
now they are all bishops.
and they're appointed by the
They are all simply nominated by Pope.
nominated.
Nominated.
But who actually said yay? Or
That mean, nominated means, bishop says you are cardinal, Pope says you are cardinal. Yes, that's all.
nominated?
Appointed, that means, yeah.
Is that geographical, or is it responsibility-wise? Is it?
It's all included. Suppose, for example, why it is,
Cardinal moves from here to Kansas.
but he still becomes cardinal. She continues. Yeah, only there are many things. For example, some of the dioceses are very important. For example, usually the Archbishop of New York or Archbishop of Chicago, Archbishop of Boston, all these places, old, very traditional, very populated, big, archdioceses. Usually, it's not, when somebody becomes the Archdiocese of New York, by the very fact he will not become a cardinal. No. He should be appointed by Pope. But that can happen very easily, because of the importance of the archdiocese. For example, Milan in Rome, that was always, the Archbishop of Milan was always a cardinal. If a new archbishop comes, then he is not a cardinal. Of course, he remains as an archbishop without the title. But in the next nomination by Pope, he will be nominated as a cardinal. So that is one thing. Another thing is importance of the church. That means, I told you in the Catholic Church there are 23 churches now. So looking into the Eastern churches, the most of the patriarchal churches, the Armenian Church, or Chaldean Church, or Byzantine, some of the church, they are patriarchs. They are also, usually nominated as cardinals because of the importance of the church. So,
Is what?
importance of the church, in the sense, 22. I told you there are 22 Eastern churches. Some of them are, bigger in number. That's a very, just to make an example. The biggest number of the Eastern churches is Ukrainian church. So, the major archbishop of the Ukrainian church is, he's a cardinal, he's a patriarch, the patriarch of Ukraine. So, he is almost every time, when somebody becomes the head of that church, the major archbishop of that church, usually he will be appointed by the Pope as a cardinal. The second largest Eastern church is our church, Syro-Malabar Church, in the number. So, because it is a higher number, our head is always a cardinal. That means when he becomes, he doesn't automatically become cardinal, no. But he will be nominated, usually he will be nominated as cardinal.
So the amount of cardinals, the number is a set number.
That is,
If one passes away, another one is nominated.
no. That is a cardinal. For example, I told you the number for election, according to the rule, it must be limited to 120. So 120. And suppose now Pope Francis, I told you only there are 109 cardinals are now eligible for election. That means 11 posts of the cardinals are now vacant. Pope Francis became Pope now. How many months now? Almost a year, no? Or 6-7 months now. So he never nominated anyone as cardinal, no? The last cardinals were all nominated by or appointed by Pope Benedict. So now see the number, there are 9 are now vacant seats, vacant cardinal numbers. So in the near future Pope Francis will nominate 9 of them. That's all. Not one cardinal dies, another nominated, no.
And they have to be young, or under...
Need not be.
Under 80.
Need not be. That is...
But it defeats the purpose of...
Yeah, that is under 80.
Yeah.
Unless, for example, there was an interesting point to see, I think, there was a theologian in America, or who was that? Or in France. So France or America, there was a great theologian, but is Cardinal Sullivan?
From...
I don't know. He's not.
Los Angeles, isn't it?
I don't know exactly. Anyway, somebody was, nominated. Pope John Paul II wanted to, appoint a priest, a very well-known, world-famous theologian, wanted to appoint him as a cardinal. Then he refused because if he is nominated as cardinal, he should be consecrated as bishop, and he is already over 80. So it was a kind of a title Pope wanted to give him because of his achievements as a theologian. He said, no, I don't want that, because now as age 80 to become a bishop. What is the meaning of becoming a bishop? He is the pastor of a group, and number 80 means the bishops are to retire under 75. When bishops become 75, they are retired. You know that. That is the age.
Or priest.
Same with the priest.
Priest, yeah.
They can retire or have to retire?
That's usually when they become 75, they have to give their resignation letter to Rome, to Pope. All have to send a letter. But it is Rome who accepts or not. Sometimes, the Rome says, okay, you continue one more year until we, find out another one, suitable one to that post. So some may continue 1 year or 2 years, something like that. But everyone has to give a resignation letter to at the age of 75. So this man was already more than 80. He said, there is no meaning of ordaining me as a bishop, and I don't want that. Therefore he refused to accept the title as a cardinal. You see? Yeah.
Now, when you say resign from a parish duties, but they're still ordained.
They are priests. For example, suppose a priest is retired, he continues to be a priest. A bishop retired, he is called retired bishop. For example, Bishop Peña is a bishop.
Right.
He can do consecration. He can ordain people. Only thing is that he is not in charge of a diocese. That's all. He has all the privileges as a bishop.
Has a jurisdiction anymore.
That's all.
No administrative.
The only administrative capacities are stripped off. Otherwise, he continues to be a bishop.
So, Father, how many cardinals in the United States have signed?
I think there are about 22 cardinals are there in the United States. I don't know exactly, but I think. But it's only, I think 11 or 12 are only eligible for election for a bishop.
Okay. When the cardinals are 80, they cannot nominate popes anymore. But a new pope is nominated when either one resigns, like in the last case, or dies. And sometimes can be 10, 15, 20, 30 years on a papacy. So all these cardinals are also getting older.
Yeah.
And so right now they can elect somebody because they're under 80. But by the time they need to, they might be over 80. So at that point, new cardinals have to be elected to get to the point of 120 to be able to elect a pope.
Yeah, that law is, the cardinals number should not exceed 120. Only thing is, suppose Pope Francis dies now. I told you, only 109 are eligible for election. They come together and elect a pope with 109. Need not be 120.
Okay. That's the maximum number, but not the minimum.
Yeah, there is no limit is set for minimum.
Okay.
And suppose there are 109 are eligible for bishop, election, but suppose somebody gets sick, he cannot come and elect. So okay, there will be 108. That's all.
So, we talked about, the archbishop is a jurisdictional title.
Yeah.
Cardinal is a jurisdictional title.
Yeah. But archbishop has a, jurisdictional title means, as archbishop, he is getting, what is called.
No, he's still a consecrated position
As a bishop.
As a bishop, so
Yeah.
he still has direct involvement in parishes.
Yeah, and not only that,
In dioceses.
by the very fact he is an archbishop, he gets, all the privileges as an archbishop.
Okay.
But when somebody is nominated as cardinal, all his powers are given only, whatever powers are given by Pope is only there.
Okay, so what exactly is the job of the cardinal?
So we cannot simply, the first and foremost responsibility of a cardinal is to, and that is the only, when somebody is nominated, only what's called secure right is to elect a pope. All other privileges are to be given by the pope. All other privileges.
So you may be appointed a cardinal to work on a specific area.
Yeah. Suppose, for example, cardinal, for example, the cardinal of Galveston now. No, he's a cardinal, I think. I don't know.
Bernardo.
Yeah, he's a cardinal, no? So he is a archbishop there, and cardinal means he could be nominated by the Pope in a special council. Okay, you work in this council, special council, this or that, like that. If by the very fact one is nominated as or appointed as a cardinal, he doesn't get any jurisdictional power except only the election of the Pope. That is, by the very fact one is appointed cardinal, if he is not over 80, he gets that privilege of election of a Pope.
For example, we have some cardinals that are appointed by the Pope
John Paul
to
II.
manage the Vatican Bank because they have expertise in finance and stuff like that.
No. Need not be, for example, need not be a cardinal. Vatican Bank, the head of the Vatican Bank need not be a cardinal. That is the other way. That means a Vatican bank's head. Okay, he is appointed, and the Pope sees, okay, he is a good, administrator. He can nominate him as a cardinal. Need not be always
Not the other way around.
the other way. That means, a cardinal is appointed as a Vatican bank's head. No, the other way.
Okay.
That means everywhere it is. In Rome it is that way. Need not be, head of the congregations. May not be cardinals. But usually cardinals are appointed and later nominated as cardinals. So that's why it's a title. It's a title, and it has the power only what the Pope gives.
Not that months.
So if there's 9 vacancies, isn't it to the benefit to the Pope Francis to elect those 9
Yes,
cardinals?
all the cardinals.
To his way of thinking? Like
Yes, that's all by his personal choice.
Right.
Cardinal Monsignor, which is an honorary title, is given to a priest for special services in
Yeah.
the church
Yeah.
by the bishop of that jurisdiction, right?
No.
By the bishop?
So a little bit, there's a difference. Okay, let us take the case of Father Louis. So the Bishop of Brownsville sees, okay, Father Louis is a very prominent person in the diocese. And he wanted to honor him with the title Monsignor. So he refers his name to Vatican. And Pope nominates him as Monsignor.
Nominates or appoints?
And that means appoint and nominate means, I just hear.
First
So,
nominated and then appointed.
yeah, that means, he gives the title. That is the better way. He confer the title as Monsignor to Monsignor Louis. So, with that title, Monsignor Louis gets nothing special except a title, an honor. And that is given by Pope.
Also by the Pope.
And there are different titles, Monsignor titles. For example, if somebody is appointed as a Vicar General, automatically he becomes a Monsignor. But if he loses the job as a Monsignor, as a Vicar General, he loses the title of Monsignor. But he was nominated directly by Pope, and he keeps the title.
Wherever he goes.
Yeah.
Father, what was it that separated the Orthodox Church? I know that they didn't agree with something.
There are so many issues.
Not just one.
No, not just one.
I know they have the 7 sacraments. I looked it up.
Yeah, that's why there are so many issues, but mostly it is a kind of a jurisdictional problem. That means Pope, becoming more and more, as a universal head, and those Orthodox or the Easterners, they could not accept him as, the universal jurisdictional.
But isn't that what Jesus said in Matthew? That
They say, yeah, we are, the Easterners say, they are ready to accept him as the leader in faith. Faith and morals. What do you mean by faith and morals? Okay, as I told you, there are four elements. Only in one thing, that is faith and morals, he has the power. All other things, that means in liturgy, in disciplines, and hierarchy. All these 3 things, Pope has nothing to do with this church because it is independent. So the liturgical issue, they will handle. The appointment of bishops and things, they will handle it. And the discipline, they make their own laws. Only thing is that Pope as a head of the universal church means they are ready to do that. That means he has the what's called honorary power to watch over the faith and morals, not any other things. That is the idea of the Orthodox.
At what point in time did the election of the Pope go from just being, bishops and deacons to becoming, the way it is now, where he's elected?
Because, that was all, when the papacy became, more and more universal, from starting,
What year was that, you think?
Exactly, I don't know exactly. I gave you the number. I think almost like there is when I gave you the paper, I think it is there.
Because when Charles was elected or was installed as Holy Roman Emperor, it was a Pope that installed him as Holy Roman Emperor.
That is, this is the thing, what I wanted to take today.
We digress.
For next week?
See, that is, the heading is Papal State.
Oh my goodness, we missed it, guys.
So, how see how the papal state began. Now, how and it was reduced to Vatican 108 acres.
Wow.
So that was the next topic I just wanted to really discuss with you. But today the discussion was going on very good. I really like it.
That's the reason I waited.
It's magnificent today.
Yeah.
I'll point it out. This is an interesting thing. It says that Pope John Paul II, because today's St. John of the Cross,
Yes.
he says Pope John Paul II learned Spanish in order to read the poetry of John of the Cross. Isn't that nice?
One question that in today's,
Okay. Yeah.
The Diocese of Brownsville.
Please. Yeah. Question.
Two Vicar Generals of the Diocese of Brownsville are they both Monsignor?
Monsignor, because all of them are called Monsignor. This is the title is with this Monsignor title is with the title they hold as Vicar General. When they are no more Vicar General, then they will not be called as Monsignor unless the bishop refers their name to Pope and Pope confers them the title Monsignor. Yeah.
Could you clear up one little bit for me with the cardinals?
Yeah.
Is the title cardinal geographic?
No.
If you're a cardinal here, then you move, you're a cardinal.
Yeah, that means that it was personal.
So it's not.
For example, suppose take the case of Cardinal of Chicago. So he was invited by the Pope to Vatican, for example. So in order to in charge of some congregation. Okay, I think you see the Bishop of Denver, Chaput, no? Yeah, he was called to the Vatican by Pope, no? Pope John Paul II. Yeah, and I think he's now as a cardinal, no? I don't know.
No, I think he's not cardinal yet.
Yeah.
He's to Philadelphia.
Yeah. Okay. Now see the cardinal from Chicago. Pope invites him to Rome to be given a head of their department, something like that. Now Chicago is vacant. When he moves to Rome, he goes with the title cardinal. So now the diocese or archdiocese of Chicago, the see is vacant, and Bishop Daniel is transferred to Chicago. Okay, he gets automatically the title archbishop because that title, because it is an archdiocese, but he is not a cardinal unless the Pope appointed him a cardinal later.
The cardinal that was the archbishop, though, when he gets transferred out, he's no longer the archbishop, right?
Yeah, but once somebody is nominated as archbishop, then he keeps that title archbishop.
As an honor. Well, no, it's consecrated. Bishop is a consecrated title, though.
No, I told you, archbishop, only bishop, that consecrated title. Archbishop is not a consecrated title, but it's a jurisdictional title. But the problem is that once somebody is, the title gets an archbishop, then he will not be transferred to a diocese where no archdiocese or the title is lesser than. No. He always keeps that position as arch.
So if he was the archbishop here, that means he first was a bishop, so he's got the consecrated title of bishop. Okay, and he's now the archbishop, and he's a cardinal, and he gets transferred to Rome by the Pope, so he still remains a cardinal, because that was
Sure.
He's still a bishop.
Yeah, sure.
But he's not the archbishop anymore. Whereas he still...
But retains. But this should be also, this is good, to ask, one point should be clear for you. Archbishop, even though he is a bishop, he is the archbishop of a diocese or archdiocese, the title is given by the Pope.
Okay.
Even though it is related with the archdiocese, but he is given the title by the Pope by conferring him the pallium. You know what is pallium? there is a small robe, by the archbishops, wear a small robe like that is, woven by, that's just called pallium. It is woven, if you look into the Google, you can you can get it. What is pallium? Pallium. Pallium. P. Pallium. Yeah, and that is a kind of that title is given by the Pope, even though it is related with an archdiocese. But if some bishops, suppose, if even some bishops could be without the archdiocese, bishop can nominate, or Pope can appoint him as archbishop. It's a title given by the Pope also. It's a jurisdictional title as well as a title given by the Pope. But at the same time, there is a problem now. Suppose a bishop was transferred, suppose the Bishop Daniel was transferred from Brownsville to Rome, to be head of some department. So automatically, Pope appoints him archbishop with with the pallium. Yeah.
As an honor, but not as a jurisdiction.
Then, in that case, it's a kind of an honor, or without jurisdiction means jurisdiction of the diocese. No.
So if he is moved again, he will be moved to an archdiocese.
Yeah.
Now
he's a archbishop, and therefore, he will be moved to an archdiocese. Surely, he will not be moved anymore to a diocese.
As a bishop, you cannot go back.
Yeah, usually no.
Question. Are there any other non-consecrated titles other than Archbishop, Cardinal, and Monsignor that the Pope conferred?
There is no in the College of Cardinal. There is no Monsignor.
No Monsignor.
No.
So Monsignor,
Monsignor is only for priests.
But that's conferred by the Pope.
That's conferred by the Pope, and
like the vicars, are they conferred by the Pope?
No.
They're by the bishops.
That means
those three,
only
Bishop, Cardinal, and Monsignor, are conferred by the Pope.
Yeah, that is, for example, the titles. Monsignor, there is. That's all. What we call. Suppose somebody is, suppose a priest is appointed here in Holy Spirit as the parish priest. What we call him? Pastor. No? That's a title, no? That like that, suppose he is removed from that and no more he is, appointed as a pastor in a parish, then he is no more a pastor. Like that, suppose a vicar general is appointed by the bishop. So together with that appointment, he gets a title called Monsignor. So when he is removed from that title as a vicar general, he is also removed from the title Monsignor. So this title is, enjoined with the title of Monsignor and Vicar General together. So anybody is in that office, he gets that title and his job. But Monsignor Louis is different. That's why, because of his eminence as a person, he is appointed as given in a title Monsignor. So wherever he goes, he keeps that.
And who gave him that?
Pope.
The Pope. Okay.
Sure.
So if those three titles are conferred by the Pope, they're forever.
Yeah.
The others, if it's associated to an office or a duty, it stays with the office.
Yeah, that stays with the office. Anybody else? Last question.
Past 8 o'clock, huh?
On the EWTN, they show the palliums that are going to be bestowed upon the cardinals, they sleep in the tomb of Peter the night before.
Cardinal title has no pallium, no.
Well, whoever he gives the pallium to.
That is to Archbishop.
Okay, they sleep in the tomb of Peter, that's what I was trying to say. That's what it is.
Sleep?
They take those things that they wear, they lay them in the tomb of Peter.
That is, that is because, that is, that is, the pallium is a title, that's what's called a small thing, they wear on their neck. That's a sign of their unity with the Peter,
Okay.
with the universal church. That's why when they are conferred by the Pope, the pallium, then they come to the Peter's tomb, and then it is their relation with the universal church, or their relation with Peter. That's why it is. That's true. That's a practice done by them, and they have to in olden times, in the medieval period, every 5 years, they have to go to Rome and get their palliums. And they had to pay a large amount of money for that. Yes.
A tax?
Like a tax. And but later it was all, once it is given, it's given. It is also, we can see, the bishops ad limina visit. Did you hear something about ad limina visit? So we will talk later about that. Every 5 years, it is supposed that every 5 years, every bishop, archbishop or anybody, all the bishops or heads of the diocese have to go to Rome, meet the Pope, give a report of their diocese, and then visit the tomb of Peter, and that is called ad limina. Ad limina means to enlighten, in Latin, to enlighten.
So that is a practice that is still going on. Every 5 years.
5 years, but sometimes it is every 5 years means could be 6 years, 7 years, 10 years.
Okay.
No, because according to the Curia arrangements. So this is a little, I don't know whether will be useful for you. There are so many things here. This is I have taken no, I don't know whether it will be useful for you, because there are so many things here. This is a note I prepare for my students, but this is too much. Could be too many things. All these things need not be for you. If you are interested, you can take the copies, no problem.
Yeah, then we can ask you questions.
Yeah. So tomorrow, next.
It's yours, baby.
Next. You see? Next. Next Saturday, bring it, for my class. I need that, for using it. That's all. Okay? That's good, Today we were, all questions and answers.
We did very well.